I'm Googling it going, well, what does empty nest mean? And it was empty nest syndrome. And I was like, oh, this is a thing.
It's a syndrome.
It's a thing.
Is there a cream for that?
According to Wikipedia, it's a thing. Right. Is there a cream for that? I know. You get to go through this. You don't go over it. You don't go under it. You're going to go through this. So I read that and I was like, oh, I know what that means. I know what that means. So, okay, now I can put that into context and say it's okay because I was grieving a little bit when he left.
And it's temporary.
And situational.
Right. And situational, and don't let it overtake everything, but it's okay to be grieving. I know what grieving is. Depression is different. You don't want to spend a lot of time in depression, obviously, but grieving's different. That's part of life. It's kind of beautiful.
Cooper and Lila are sophomore and junior in high school, and we're starting to talk college for Cooper, and so I'm starting to think about what it's going to be like when my kids leave the house. And I have mixed feelings. On one hand, I'm like, get the hell out now. On the other hand, my heart seems like it's going to be broken pieces. But it also makes me really think about who I am and what I'm going to be doing. And I kind of want to hear both your stories because you've got one in, one out, and you've got
Two out.
Two out. She sounds psyched about that.
Two out.
And I mean, when they left, what was the transition like?
First of all, they didn't leave soon enough. But I didn't have that type of angst about how she was going to do. She went to my alma mater, and I just wanted her to be independent.
So, but how did it make you feel? I mean, did it change your feeling about yourself or your trajectory of life, or?
No, fortunately, I had already carved out a life for myself. So I wasn't dependent upon, I wasn't just a mom. I was a mom and I was also doing my own thing. Right. So it was different. It wasn't like, there's a piece of me that's gone.
And I think it's so important what you just said about you've already sort of carved something out for yourself. So it wasn't like there is a gaping hole when they go, in my opinion, a little bit as I'm going into this. But to have a major distraction, which is your life and what you're doing with your life, makes a huge difference.
It does.
Well, that's one of the reasons I've even started this whole show is that, I had mom life for a while, and then I had an HGTV show, and then I moved across country, and I've had some time, and I've been thinking, oh my God, when Cooper and Lila are out of the house, what am I going to be doing?
My first, Luke, is 18 years old. So I was an aggressive parent as far as he wants to go to a great school. He's a smart kid. What are we going to do to get him there? How are we going to help him? All this kind of stuff. So I'm like on this trajectory of getting him there. And then all of a sudden realize I got him there and he's leaving. Right. What was I thinking? I called you and I was like, well, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like,
that was a terrible idea.
What was I thinking?
No, pushing him out of the house. I remember literally dropping him off at Clemson going, no, wait.
Oh.
Wait, this worked out for you. Can you come back?
They do come back home sometimes, and sometimes not under the best of circumstances. And they come back expecting things to be as they were when they were younger. Not a good idea. And so after a couple of years of this back and forth, after mine had left the nest, and then they come back, and then they go back, and so I finally pulled up with the U-Haul.
And said, oh, you mean at your own home to get
at my own home to get my stuff out.
Time to go. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, you left, wait a second, I'm confused.
Yeah, I left.
What do you mean?
I pulled up stakes. I really did. Because I knew that we would just keep going back and forth, and
You left your house?
I left my house.
And you left your daughter in your house?
Daughter and son.
Where'd
at
you
that
go?
point. I moved downtown. I did, and I put my house on the market, and I ensured that they had places to go. Yes, I did. And so, yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Cooper and Lila, if you're ever watching this, you're not coming back here, and I'm not leaving.
So I didn't understand this concept of loitering.
Right.
Squatting.
Squatting, right.
Squatting in your house.
You know what that's mean? After they're 18, they're actually squatting.
Yeah. I watched Luke he's on a part scholarship, on an academic scholarship to go to school, and we take it very seriously. He takes it very seriously, but there's this horrible balance of, well, I talk to him all the time.
How often do you talk to? Yeah. Wait, Ann. Ann. How often do you talk to Luke?
I talk to him all the time.
What is?
A friend of mine told me that it's sort of like when your kid goes off to school, because you are sort of in love with your kids, I guess. And
yeah, I hope so.
You are. And so he goes off, and I remember him saying, it's going to feel like when your first boyfriend broke up with you. Did I tell you that? It's like when your first boyfriend broke up with you. That's what it feels like, sort of, when your kid goes off to school. And I was like, it does. And he was like, and then you turn into that maniacal ex-girlfriend.
If I was your girlfriend, I'd drive you up the wall. Question who you're with, yeah, I'd always call and call.
She wants to know where your kid is all the time. So I'm like, I've got Find My Friends on my phone. Don't tell Luke this.
I wouldn't call it jealousy, just looking out for you. Reading all your texts, watching everything you do. Nag. Nag, nag.
Luke, don't tell him this.
Yeah,
He's gonna figure this out though. But I've got Find My Friends, so I know where Luke is all the time.
If Luke is watching a show about aging, I'm questioning his freshman year in college.
Yeah. But I felt like the maniacal ex-girlfriend. So where is Luke right now?
So Anne's stalking her son.
I'm a little stalking. It really made me feel pretty much my age. All of a sudden, I was like, I am old enough to have a kid going to college. Wow.
And how did that make you feel?
Old. Old at first.
So I think that must have been a really big moment for you, feeling like I'm old, and I understand it's
right.
It's more of a moment of time of, how am I old enough to have a kid in college? Wait a second, whoa, what's happening, right?
It was the first time, I think, when I got on that campus and went, this is not my school. I am not this kid. I am sending a kid to college. And you just take a deep breath and go, okay, this is where I am. Let's go.
And I think the word embrace is really important to me, because one thing we don't want, and I know this is not what you're saying, is to sort of either live vicariously through your child or look at that and say, oh, I wish I was still that age. It's really about being empowered right now. And is there any advice you would give to women as they're transitioning to this journey?
I think for me, it was finding my people in the same boat. We're all in the same boat, but there are some of us that are actually steering that boat in the same direction at the same time. And just don't forget your community. What I did, I was at orientation with Luke, and I found that there are these Facebook groups that are literally just for the parents of 2023. They're just the parents that are going to be going through exactly what I'm going through during that time. And what I took away from it was the knowledge of having people out there that were just going through the same thing I was going through felt so good. And I was like, I'm not crazy.
But that's what's so beautiful about that, right? Is that community, finding people who are going through similar things. And this is exactly what I want for my community, is to share your story, that you're not alone out there. Find people that are going through a similar thing that you're going through. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this. And I think that's a great idea. Often we go through something and you feel like you're the only one going through it. And as soon, even if you don't know the people, even if you're reading their comments, it's something like, oh my God, they're going through that too.
Or, oh, she's overreacting.
Right, exactly.
I would never do that.
Listen, maniacal ex-girlfriend, I don't know who's overreacting.
I would take my cue from nature. Birds kick the young out of the nest at a certain point.
It's trying to land, but the thin top branches just can't hold its weight.
So we have to understand that there comes a point when it's time to let them fly on their own. And you just have to be comfortable and confident in the fact that they've watched you live your life and that they're going to take those lessons and live theirs fully.
That is a beautiful thing. And I think something that both of you said, especially you touched on earlier, is have something for yourself. And I don't want to stress, I don't want to stress moms out that are stay-at-home moms. I really don't. Whether it's a hobby, whether it's a job, whether it's philanthropy, whether it's a new language, find something for yourself. Because I think that so often that if your kids are your everything And they are our everything to a certain point. They're
Right.
our babies, right? But I do love at some point the little birdies have got to leave the nest and they got to fly on their own.
It finally descends into the leeward side of the tree.
I have a lot to say for somebody who has 2 kids in the house. I got a lot of opinions. Let's see what happens in 2 years. Keep watching as I'm literally like,
I know.